Good morning and welcome to Ainane 201, Careers in Mechanical Engineering. And today we have the pleasure of hosting our guest speaker, Elliot Flick. And if I remember, you're currently Vice President for Commercial Projects for Constellation.
That's right.
Fantastic. So I'm going to go off script and start from the beginning. What got you interested in nuclear engineering?
So when I started at the university, I didn't know what kind of engineering I wanted to do.
Okay.
And I just did a little bit of exploration and whatnot. But there was actually somebody that was in my dorm room. I was, I guess, a second semester freshman, and he had already declared his major as nuclear engineering. And he just spent some time talking to me about it. And I was like, I can do that. That sounds like a piece of cake, right? And so I decided that that's what I wanted to pursue. I went to the professors and talked to them about it, and they were like, "Hey, you're in," and there you go. And I took my minor classes in mechanical.
Okay.
And what I actually really like is, even though my degree was nuclear engineering, the school prepares you for any type of engineering. Like, you have to take electrical classes along the way, and mechanical and civil structural and all this stuff. And so when you come out, even though maybe by title you're a mechanical engineer, you actually are really prepared to operate as a broad engineer. So
And it also helps communicating with other engineers. I mean, if you work in a team, you understand what the electrical engineer is saying, the civil engineer is saying. So it's and that is how the world works today. No engineer works in the office by themselves.
That's right.
Okay, so what was your first job after graduation?
I had the great fortune. One of my professors, he asked me would I like to do an internship with Baltimore Gas and Electric, which owns a nuclear power plant in Southern Maryland. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, sure, that sounds great. And so I ended up doing 2 internships there, and then I had a full-time offer. And I've been with this company for about 33 years now, and I've moved around from Maryland to Illinois to Pennsylvania, where I currently live with the same company. And I think it's pretty unusual these days for people to stick with a company for that long. Sure. But it's a great company to work for, and I
what
really,
you're looking for, exactly why go look somewhere else.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What I thought was really interesting, though, about the internships was it gave me an opportunity to figure out things that I like about the work environment and things that I really didn't like about the work environment. And so that helped me really decide when I got my permanent job to what I wanted to do with them when I permanently hired on.
And that's in my opinion, internships. The main goal is that to give exposure to the student who has really no idea what the world out there is, and help them decide which direction they want to take, and also get the company to know the student.
That's right.
And eventually offer them a position because they know them. There's no surprise.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did your degree or particular courses help you in that initial?
Yeah, so I think that the coursework itself helped lay the foundation for engineering for me. But what I found is that I'm more of a hands-on learner, and so the classes that were actual lab-based classes, or the internship experiences, and other things like that are where I really found myself accelerating. And so those type of hands-on courses helped me personally, just because of my style of learning.
Right.
And I found that very useful. One thing that I would say, and I hope that this doesn't exist anymore, but I never, while I was at the university, had ever even heard of something, an engineer in training and a professional engineer's exam. I found out about it during graduation ceremonies when the speaker that was up on the stage said, hey, hopefully you all are going to get your EIT, right?
It's good to call it FE now. But
the FE, okay. So, what I found was that I waited after I got out of school and was working before I went to do that. And it's very challenging if you don't do it right away. And so, that's kind of like a regret that I have, is that I didn't know about it and I didn't do it right away. But I would encourage students to do that because it's really valuable.
I do emphasize that a lot, and I tell students, take the FE.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the approach that this French philosopher, somebody asked, do you believe in God? He said yes, and they said why? He said, because if I don't believe there's no God, nothing happens. If I don't believe and there's a God, I go to hell. So I tell them, take it. Yeah. If you need it. If you don't need it, you have nothing.
Right.
It's you sit through a 6-hour exam.
Yep.
But if you need it and you haven't taken it, then you're going to have a problem.
That's right.
20 some years doing the prep courses
mm-hmm.
through UMBC
mm-hmm.
for the FE and the PE.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I did a program with the Calvert Cliffs once for the engineers to get them. But then one day, as you said, when you realize I need that for that promotion or this new job,
right.
And if you don't have it, then it becomes an issue. So,
yeah. Definitely.
Okay, so briefly, could you tell us a little bit how your career path went or how it evolved?
Yeah, I started off as what we call a systems engineer at Calvert Cliffs Nuclear Plant, and I did that type of work for about 5 years. And basically it was working with the people that operate the power plant and the people that maintain the power plant, and I was basically the chief strategist for the equipment there. I moved from that role into a business development planning role, which was something new for me. And then I eventually moved into a leadership position at one of our other power plants out in Illinois. I moved into a project management organization and learned the skills of project management and the value of getting a PMP license. And so eventually I moved up the leadership ladder into the engineering vice president position for our company, which I had for about 5 years. And then the last 2 years I've been doing business development work for our company. And so I'm building all of our greater than $100 million projects for our company. So it's been a lot of fun.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Fantastic. What other skills other than what you were taught here do you think are important in your career?
So I would say being a lifelong learner, always being willing to try something new. So that's kind of like your own personal internal flexibility. When you're asked to do something that you've never done before, are you willing to say yes and give it your all, or are you hesitant to do that? Because that type of lifelong learning and being willing to say yes to new experiences is something that really I found very helpful. And then the other piece is just being an excellent communicator with people, recognizing that you have to over-communicate at times and be willing to explain things in different ways. I mean, it's very easy for us as engineers to speak a completely different language than somebody who's maybe a business person or something like that, and being able to take maybe what's a complex topic and I'm not going to say dumb it down, but make it so that it's easier to understand for somebody else.
So you have to be able to communicate with all kinds of audiences and explain in ways that they can understand, not
That's right.
through the technical terms and everybody sees that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good. How many people work for Constellation?
We have 17,000 employees. We're the largest operator of nuclear power plants in the U.S. We operate 21 nuclear reactors in the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, and the Midwest. And that is the majority of the power that we generate. We are the largest producer of carbon-free energy as a result of this large nuclear fleet in the United States. And so we also have wind and solar and other type of power generation that's part of our portfolio. And the company has a power trading and marketing arm that basically sells to large customers and residential customers the electricity that we produce.
And how would you say diversity is viewed?
That's what I would call like one of our price of admittance competencies for all people. From a company perspective, we seek out diverse people to be part of our organization. We're looking for diversity of thought, diversity of gender, diversity of background and skill sets, because bringing the best and brightest minds together with different perspectives is how we grow as a company and accelerate growth as a company. We need all of the brightest minds, and that's not just from one particular demographic.
That's so true,
you know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you very much. Thank you for
you.
taking the time, and we're looking forward to your presentation.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Take care.